This is what medieval placer gold mining sites look like. A bit boring, just dumps and hills in the forest. Deep in the Slovakian forest, we stumble upon a mystery. Who piled up these hills? When was searched for gold here, and how much gold is still hidden in the ground? We are four friends searching for gold and the truth about the mysterious placer gold mining in the Middle Ages. Answers aren't easy to find, but we defy all obstacles and rejoice in every discovery as if it were a treasure. Stefan, our mining expert from Germany, poses the riddle questions. He has identified the gold deposits on the digital Terra model. Roberto, the Spanish mining engineer, can identify every stone and is an expert in rolling gold mining. Angel, his college friend, makes the strenuous days easier with his humor. Gold prospecting abroad always starts in the department store. I have to get a shovel. I can't take that on an airplane. I myself am a travel-loving Swiss hobby gold prospector and dream of the stories this historic event tells. Only the gold is missing. In any case, I can't see it. Can you see it here? Our home is an old farmhouse in the heart of Slovakia, right on a campsite in the Brezno. Here we share not only the apartment but also our adventures and sometimes the lounge with curious guests.
Hello.
Slovakia, a country at the heart of Europe. 5.4 million people live here, surrounded by the endless forests of the Carpathians. Almost two-thirds of the country is mountainous, 40% covered by dense forests. Here 1,200 bears still roam the wilderness and the barely visible traces of ancient secrets. The Slovaks were rarely allowed to govern themselves. They were under Hungarian rule for 900 years. The mystery of the medieval gold panning dates back to this time. My friend Stefan has discovered around 100 of these landscape traces in Slovakia. What do we know about them? Hardly anything. Written sources are rare, archaeological finds sparse, but on the digital Terra model, the DTM, they appear as clear patterns. It is precisely these patterns that lead us to the ancient gold placers. We examine them on site. Are they really man-made, and can we still find gold today? If so, we shed some light on the matter. Then we can say with great certainty, here in the middle of the forest, gold was once exploited. Geologically, there are three types of placer gold deposits in Slovakia. German miners called them Seifen. Internationally, they are now referred to as placer gold deposits. The gold migrates from the mountain to the valley through erosion. Along the way, it is deposited in the sediments, alluvial directly at the source, colluvial on the slope, and alluvial in the river sediments. We now want to take a look at an alluvial gold placer near Kozawa. But it is also our first clue for a very bold question for Roberto, our specialist for Roman gold mining. Kozawa is the most important gold district in the Slovak Ore Mountains, the Western Ore Mountains, and essentially the center of Vepor gold. The tectonic unit there is called Vepor. Over there on the Sinets, legend has it that the Romans built a fortress when they conquered the Celtic Goths. But according to the historical evidence, the Romans never penetrated as far into Slovakia as we are here. Could it be that some of these placer gold mining operations are even of Roman origin? We are standing on an alluvial placer. The gold was transported very short distances, about 2 kilometers or so. Up there are gold tourmaline quartz veins in the primary gold deposits. Bohate was the main placer gold mining site. This must have been the richest area. Stefan even found a spot with exposed rock, bedrock. Tourmaline is definitely there. Lots of it, actually. Aha! The big yellow dot is unfortunately not the largest nugget of Slovakia. But here, something looked like gold in the pan.
Hält sich zumindest wie Gold in der Pfanne. Ich sehe es nur sehr schlecht.
Kein Tourmaline, meint Roberto.
I think not.
Not tourmaline, says Roberto.
Pyrit oder sowas.
I think not.
Was Metallisches.
Pyrite or something. Something metallic.
Relativ großes Gold.
Well, if so, it would actually be a relatively large piece of gold. So the results of the whole story, if it were gold, it would be a pretty nice piece. But like with the tourmaline, we are not so sure about that. So we'll leave it open for now.
Yeah, right. And we're down here now, and this is the mine, right? Yes.
We are now 2 kilometers uphill from the alluvial gold placer we looked at earlier. That looks like the vein they excavated here. Yes.
Okay.
Do you have a light? Without light, I won't get very far. Stefan has disappeared. Ambitious? I think the question is, who has a lamp? Not me. Maybe my cell phone flashlight. We are now downstream on the Rimava River, on a river terrace. There are many such holes here, called pinks. These are the traces of medieval gold mining.
Das ist die Spur vom mittelalterlichen Goldabbau.
The question is, was there open cast mining towards the river? Up here there was probably classic shaft mining, Duckelbergbau. They dug shafts 10 to 20 meters deep, down to the bedrock. That's where they found the gold-rich layers, probably.
Vom Fluss, also an Bedrock runter. Und dort sind bestimmt die goldreichen Schichten gewesen.
We are on the Beastry Potok now, the Beastry Creek. Behind us lies a colluvial placer gold deposit. From this gully, the path leads up to a gold placer that was mined in the Middle Ages, and of which you can still see the remains of a dump.
Und wo man noch Haldenüberreste sieht.
These are the dump structures, clearly artificially created piles of stones. Colluvial means, in contrast to what we saw yesterday, alluvial, that the material has already been transported somewhat. The primary deposit is not 2 to 3 kilometers away, but further away. To put it simply, these are hill sediments.
Hangrutschsediment, vereinfacht vielleicht.
The gold pan is full of garnets. The gold is almost invisible, but there are fine traces of gold here.
Sichtbar, aber es hat viele Goldspuren.
Kremnica, the golden heart of Slovakia. Over 1,000 years of mining history have shaped this town. Here we learn how deep the roots of gold can reach in a region. Kremnica was one of Slovakia's 3 major German-speaking islands, the so-called Hauerland, a melting pot of cultures and knowledge. Starting in the 11th millennium, the Slavic king brought Saxons here as mining specialists to develop the land. Much has been lost today, due to time, natural forces, and the changing phase of history. We climb up the Sturets, a high sinkhole from the late Middle Ages. I believe this sinkhole actually fell as early as the 14th century. It's really old. The Slovak name Sturets comes from the German Sturz, to fall. In 1443, after an earthquake, the gold mines here collapsed, a catastrophe that left a 200-meter deep depression and claimed the lives of 90 miners. The event was so gruesome that people had to turn it into a legend to understand it. I also find Kremnica geologically fascinating. It's a stratovolcano and thus an epithermal gold deposit. Volcanoes formed the region 15 million years ago. Since then, over 120 gold veins, locally with very high gold content, have been hidden here. The Kremnica Mint was founded in 1329 and still produces coins and banknotes for many countries today, which is beautifully displayed in a museum. For us, Kremnica is a visible, living gold history.
Pod Tatrami vietor spieva, vlny lesa ticho zlieva, pod korunami, kde čas sa skryje, kamenné vrchy slnko pije. Nižné Tatry domov som, v objatí hôr speve borovzem, čo dýcha dávnou piesňou, srdce spojené s jej nehou. Potok šepká v tóne smrekov, rozpráva príbeh storočných brehov. Pod vrchmi tieň a lúč sa hrajú, večné ticho tu duše nájdu. Ніжне Татри домов снов, в об'ятті гор спеве борозем, що тихо давну пісню, серце споєне з єйнього. Hory nesú tajné slova, kamenná brána, kde večnosť volá. Stúpať k vrcholom s tichom lesa, nájsť ten pokoj, kde duša plesá. Nižné Tatry, domov snov, v objatí hôr speve borozem, čo dýcha dávnou piesňou.
At Magurka, nestled in the windswept heights of the Low Tatras, lies one of Slovakia's most mysterious gold deposits. Our starting point is the small church of Magurka, once a refuge for the miners. Here, in the alpine vegetation, in the heart of Liptov, gold mining was already in full swing around 1270. Initially, it was probably placer gold mining, then hard rock gold mining. Even today, the wind carries the stories of gold seekers through the mountain forests. Relics are everywhere: tunnels, walls, overgrown heaps. Mining history was written here. Later, antimony was discovered, and in the 18th century, 800 men mined at the same time. Alongside the antimony, 45 pounds of gold and 175 pounds of silver were found annually. As recently as 1917, a 29-pound piece of gold quartz was found.
Nižné Tatry, domov snov, v objatí hôr speve borozem, čo dýcha dávnou piesňou, srdce spojené s єйнього.
That must have been at least 50 years ago. That's not enough. See the dump, under that condition at least 140 years.
140 Jahre mindestens, ne? Ja.
It's known that gold-bearing alluviums along the Lubjanka Creek are mined over a length of over 12 miles. But Stefan discovered a mega-placer gold mine on the DTM near the Teich locality. What a riot! Enormously high, that's 16 feet or so. Is that still the old terrace and a mining operation over there?
Enorm hoch da. 5 Meter oder so. Dass noch die alte Terrasse ist, und da hinten ein Abbau. Ne?
The alluvial terrace rises up to 160 feet above the river. We are impressed. Mining took place on 3 levels, probably from the bottom to top in different areas. Even the remains of an old dry stone wall are still visible. One can vividly imagine how the miners back then carried the gold-bearing sediment from the upper terrace to the edge of the valley. Perhaps it slid down a wooden track, or was slowed down by a break to the river where the gold was finally washed out of the gravel. In my mind's eye, I see the men pulling the sediment, perhaps on sleds, through a narrow alley. To the left and right, the stones left behind from the earlier mining period are piled up to form walls. The effort, the noise, the shouting, all of this seems to still hang in the air here.
Ja, es ist etwas. Ja, genau. Ja, es ist noch irgendwie ein bisschen tiefer als die Schließung gesehen.
In Magurka, between wind, forest and water, we feel the power of history. Magurka shows us how closely happiness and transience are intertwined. For the 4 of us, this place was an impressive piece of the puzzle in our search for the true value of gold and the stories it leaves behind. At the end of our journey, we stand before one of the most important gold fields in Slovakia, Malinova. The expanse is enormous, about 1,000 acres, terraced mining traces that run like scars through the forest. Over the centuries, probably 2 tons of gold were mined here, probably even more.
5 levels. And the mine advance. The first is the upper level, the second is this, the third is this, and the fourth is this.
Yeah,
Only in this direction.
yeah. Probably with more modern technologies that they went deeper.
And you can see there are 2 levels in the same place.
Yeah,
1, 2.
okay. And now we are on the highest level.
Yes.
Yeah,
The first.
the first level, which is the oldest level then. Yeah, okay. The Celts are thought to have been the first gold seekers. Later came German settlers. In the 14th century, Litranske Bravno is mentioned as the center of gold mining. But the history is full of gaps. Few written sources report gold finds. Most of the secrets still lie buried in the ground. Interestingly, the names of the mining areas were found in the archives. Proner Spruce, Long Ditch, Placer Valley. They have all been almost completely exploited. On average, 0.6 gram of gold per ton must have been found, with peaks of over 3 grams. That's enormous.
This is big. You can see this. One line, another line. This is the middle. Many grams.
Yeah, this is a dump, yeah, from the second level probably.
Very high.
Yeah, and down here that's the trench where they carried the material to the river. And the material was classified here, and then the sandy, fine material was carried to the river or somewhere to a washing plant. Given the dimensions and piles of stones, the question posed at the beginning arises again. Could this have been a Roman placer gold mine operation? Perhaps even Roman hydraulic mining? In Spain, Roberto has clearly identified this technique at only 4 locations. It would be a sensation to see it here in Slovakia. After all, in Trenčín, just 30 miles as the crow flies from Malinova, there is a stone with a Roman inscription. This is the most important evidence that the Romans did, after all, partially cross the Danube, the border of their empire. But let's Roberto answer that question. Roberto, seeing that Stefan had a short thought, is this a Roman mining?
No.
It looks like La Bessa.
In the Roman mining, the pebbles are very high. Pebbles high. The size of the pebbles.
Yeah.
In a Roman Swiss,
Mhm.
the water move this block.
Yeah. Okay. And you also say it cannot be a hydraulic mine. Why are you so sure about that?
This is manual working in all the terrace, only washing the small material and the rest pebbles in the same place.
Okay.
No transport.
You made a calculation about the slope.
Only 2%.
Here it's only 2%, and in Spain It's more.
The hydraulic Roman gold
Yeah.
mining, 4, 5.
Yeah. So Romans needed a slope of 4 to 5 degrees to operate a hydraulic mine. So it's not possible here.
Percent, not the same as degrees.
Percent. Okay. Thank you. A little correction of the mining engineers. Yeah, very good.
100 meter, only 2 meters.
Mm-hmm.
The slope is very, very low.
Yeah.
The water no work in this area.
Great. Just a fine material. What they washed down here, probably. Huh? Even if there is no Roman evidence, Molinova remains a monument to human perseverance and ingenuity. Our search for the truth has led us to the boundaries of history. Molinova shows how many questions remain unanswered and how exciting it is to pursue them. It's so peaceful here in the forest. Wonderful. Sometimes the wind blows, the sun shines, the temperature is pleasant. Perfect. If you have mosquito repellent with you. Once again, we are panning for gold together by a quiet creek, somewhere in the Slovak forest. In Roberto's glory hole, they actually flash. Small gold wires, fine and bright. A moment that makes us all cheer. Roberto, it's your glory hole here.
Yes, my claim.
Yeah, but what about the glory? It seems it has been gone.
It's very, very nice. The big nugget, small big nugget. Very, very nice.
The big nugget is still in there?
Yes.
Wait, what did we really find? The Roman theory, a dream of Stefan and me, remains a dream. We can say with good certainty, no Roman placer gold mining in Slovakia, and certainly not hydraulic. The traces lead to the Middle Ages, not to the more ancient times. But we did find gold, genuine Slovak gold, often very close to its source. In Slovakia, lode gold and placer gold are often only a few steps away from each other. That's what makes this landscape so unique. But the greatest gold we found isn't in the pan. It's the community, the friendship, the sharing of dreams, successes and disappointments. The search continues, perhaps on the next adventure. Will we ever tire of this gold hunt? What remains at the very end? I am sitting in Košice and thinking back to Roberto's glory hole. Glory, recognition, success. But know this, real honor and recognition don't lie in what we find on earth, as much as I am enthusiastic about the gold. Real honor and recognition, something that truly satisfies the heart, I have found that in God, in the person of Jesus Christ, who died and rose again for me and for you. Have you ever researched about Jesus? He is waiting for you. Let him find you. He's the one who can truly fill your heart. Since I entrusted my life to Jesus, I know I no longer have to be in control of everything myself. I have given my life back to the one who created it. That may sound radical, but I have experienced that is precisely what true freedom lies. Jesus knows me, my dreams, my weaknesses, even my hobbies, and always knows what is good for me. As I stroll through the Craftsman's Street in Košice, I feel this freedom. It is Monday morning. The city is slowly waking up and only one shop is already open. Josef Molnar's Opel store. An insider tip, by the way.
About gold in Slovakia, in this book describe start to archaeology and finish the championship with the gold panning, for example. So the more of the book is explain about the occurrences and deposits in Slovakia,
Yes.
gold of Slovakia.
That's not so great. We bought that 10 days ago.
Haben wir doch gekauft.
That
da,
should be
vor 10
straight.
Tagen.
I guess
eigentlich
this
gratis.
tool doesn't like gold prospecting.
Aber,
What do you think? Shall we see if they can stand a joke?
Sollen wir schauen, ob die Spass verstehen?
God always has surprises in store for me, both positive and negative. With the negatives, he wants to see if I'm still up for him. As for the positives, for example, this trip to Slovakia was a great experience. Some gold from Slovakia, or this morning's gift of the out-of-print book Zlato na Slovensku. And with that shovel, how did it all end?
Mit dieser Schaufel, wie ist jetzt das?
They are really nice people here in Slovakia. I had to spend 10 minutes explaining, without knowing any Slovak, that I would just like to have pictures of them, but didn't want any money back for the broken shovel. For 10 minutes they tried to give me my money back or offered that I could take something else from the store for 14 euros. I didn't want that, and eventually they understood that I just wanted to ask for permission to film. They didn't allow that, so we respect it. Now we walk the Slovakian shopping center together and look forward to the next surprise that God will provide. Maybe it will be another gold trip, who knows? That would be really cool. Maybe it will be another video with you. I would be extremely happy. Bye everyone.